Back to school this week. Hey, this is a very exciting time for kids and an exciting time for parents too, because the summer's over and kids finally get to go back to school. One of the things about kids going back to school is they get to see some of their old friends, some of their new friends. They have some old teachers, they have some new teachers, but things kind of change. And one of the things that parents often ask me is why is it how is it that kids in our program tend to do better in school than the kids who are not in our program? And really, it's very simple. It's actually very easy to explain. The things that we do in the class are, and that they need to excel in the class, and the skills that they learn in the class to learn with our program are the same skills that they learn that they actually use and become habits with that they use in school. Let me explain. So whenever a child comes in, some of the first things we teach them, as a matter of fact, the first things we teach them, first day, second day, third day, is that there's three things that they have to be good at to excel in our program. They have to be good at watching, so they increase their focus. They have to be good at listening, which requires a great deal of detail and mental preparation. And they have to be good at following directions. Listen, it wasn't that long ago we were doing board breaks, and we explained how to break the board with this certain kick, a side kick. Is you got to stand this certain way, you take a certain step, use this part, and the board will break. It will happen every time. There really is no trick to it except for following directions. And in order to follow directions, you have to watch and listen and do what the teacher says. Well, invariably, this happens every time. A child will not break the board. And primarily they're not doing it because they're not following directions. And of course, this happened this time as well recently. And the child, they stepped up, they tried to do it, it wouldn't work. And the problem was they didn't follow the step, 1 foot kick, turn this way, and it'll work. And they kind of had some teary eyes, and they come up and they say, well, why didn't it break? I did the kick. And I had to explain to them the reason it didn't break is because you didn't follow the steps. If you don't follow the steps, you're going to get a different result. Well, sure enough, that wasn't a very satisfying answer. But I tell you what is satisfying. The next time they did it, I said, well, remember, you got to follow the steps. If you do this and do this and do this, it will break. What is satisfying is that they did that and it broke. And by golly, it snaps in their mind. They start to think, hey, you know what? If I just watch what other people are doing, right? If I just listen to what the teacher says, and then I just follow the directions, the board will break and it'll get that satisfying pow snap sound, right? That kids love when they break boards. It's a very strong positive reinforcement. But then they start noticing that's true for everything that they're doing. Not just breaking that board, but doing a certain move and being rewarded for it, and a certain technique, and then it starts to carry over, because one of the things that we do, especially these next few weeks, is part of their result is, are you doing that in school? We're going to ask your teacher, are you good at watch? Are they listening? Are they watching? Are they following the directions? You'll notice we don't ask them, are they making straight A's in school? Because quite frankly, that's irrelevant. Before you say anything, why is that irrelevant? That is irrelevant because there's a million different ways to get a straight A's, but there's only one way to learn. Really, I should say 3 ways. The way that you learn is by watching, listening, and following directions. If you're good at watching when the teacher's showing something, if you're good at listening when the teacher's explaining something, and you're good at following the directions or doing what the teacher says, you're going to get good grades. Good grades are not something you get. Good grades are a byproduct of the things that you do. And because these kids develop strong habits on the mat, in class, they take those habits with them. They almost do them involuntarily. They've done it so many times. They take it with them to school, home, and when they get older, work with their families, they take them with them for the rest of their lives. These kids have an advantage other kids do not have when they grow up. So when people ask me, why is it that kids in our program do better in school than kids who are not in our program? I have to think they don't just do better in school. They do better with everything. They do better at making friends. They do better at life. They do better at everything. So you can always tell it's kind of a small thinking when you think, why aren't they doing better in school? It's really, school is just a part of their life. So, but that kind of explains it. I hope you kind of understand how that goes. Listen, guys, this next couple of weeks, you guys are going to be getting your paper for your next belt promotion, next grade, and it's going to ask your teacher what you're doing and how you're doing. It's going to have a couple of key questions. Just make sure that you hang on to that so that we can make sure that you're doing well in the class and you understand the lessons that we're teaching. So anyway, I'll see you guys in class.